Tonight, we'll journey into the myth of Glaucus, the fisherman transformed by the sea. In this tale, we'll follow a humble fisherman whose life takes a mystical turn after encountering a magical herb. As the waves of immortality wash over him, Glaucus embarks on a journey of profound transformation and poignant unrequited love. Allow yourself to be gently carried away by the soothing rhythms of the sea and the melodies of this ancient story. Now, find comfort and let the tale unfold. Along the calm shores of ancient Boeotia, as dawn's early light played across the silver waves, Glaucus set out for his daily routine. It was spring, and an overcast sky softened the horizon with its muted hues of gray and blue. With fishing nets slung over his shoulder, Glaucus embodied the quiet dignity of a humble fisherman, his life intimately tied to the ebb and flow of the sea. Despite the simplicity of his existence, there was a serene connection between him and the vast expanse of water that he navigated every day. Glaucus' life was a humble tapestry woven from the thread of routine. Each morning he walked the shoreline, casting his nets with patience honed over countless seasons. The rhythm of the waves and the salty breeze were constant companions, lulling him into a state of contemplation as he went about his work. His hands, roughened by labor, worked the nets expertly, their movements as fluid as the ocean itself. Glaucus took pride in his work, his heart quietly yearning for something beyond the horizon that framed his world. As Glaucus toiled, his thoughts often drifted to dreams of discovery and transformation. He marveled at the ocean's vast beauty, pondering the mysteries it held. The deep, silent call of the distant sea enchanted him, and he longed for a deeper connection to its secrets. The ocean was his muse, its ever-changing face mirroring the unspoken desires that stirred within his soul, a yearning for more than the fish filling his nets, a desire for knowledge that transcended his earthly lot. It was on one such contemplative morning that Glaucus noticed an unusual disturbance along the water's edge. A school of fish was behaving oddly, gathering in numbers upon the shoreline, moving with a frenetic energy. This anomaly piqued Glaucus's curiosity, and he approached them cautiously, his keen eyes studying their patterned movements. The fish, it seemed, were drawn to something hidden among the stones of the beach, their behavior unlike anything he had seen in all his years along the coast. Driven by curiosity, Glaucus knelt beside the shimmering water, analyzing the strange scene before him. It was then that his gaze fell upon a cluster of verdant plants nestled amid the damp stones, a curious herb unlike any he had encountered in his quiet fishing life. The fish appeared captivated by this herb, as if its very presence was a divine whisper that they alone could hear. The delicate leaves caught Glaucus's intrigue, their vibrant color contrasting against the muted tones of the shoreline. Glaucus reached down, his fingers gently grazing the leaves, his heart pounding with the thrill of discovery. He wondered how this humble greenery could captivate the fish so completely. Pondering its mystery, he considered the stories told by old fishermen of magical herbs that could alter the very fabric of reality. Perhaps this was one of those fabled plants, a connection between the mortal world and the divine. After a moment's hesitation, driven by an insatiable desire to uncover the truth, Glaucus plucked one of the leaves from the herb. He raised it to his lips, feeling the weight of the unknown pressing on his mind. In a brief, contemplative pause, he considered the implications of his action, the whisper of the waves his only counsel. Then, in an act of daring curiosity, he tasted the leaf. The texture was delicate, the flavor peculiar yet not unpleasant. As he chewed thoughtfully, Glaucus felt the world around him stilling, as if the air itself held its breath. His simple action of tasting the herb marked the beginning of an extraordinary transformation, one that would carry him from the familiarity of the shoreline into the mysteries of the boundless sea. After tasting the herb, Glaucus sat quietly by the shore, the gentle lapping of waves at his feet. Though calm, the world around him began to shift in subtle and unusual ways. His senses gradually sharpened to a near-painful acuity. The sound of the sea became louder, clearer, as though the waves spoke directly to him. He could detect faint scents carried by the breeze, the individual notes of salt and kelp dancing in the air. This newfound awareness filled him with a delicious thrill, and a tingle spread across his skin, like the first touch of a spring sun. As moments passed, Glaucus felt a tingling heat spreading across his skin. It was as if the mysterious herb were unlocking something dormant within him. His skin began to itch, and when he looked down, he was amazed to see shimmering scales forming across his forearms and chest. They glinted silver and blue in the morning light, a pattern of beauty both familiar and foreign. Each scale captured a part of the sea's essence, as if nature was reclaiming him in its embrace. The changes in his body were swift, yet gentle, urging him toward the beckoning sea. Overwhelmed by these transformations, Glaucus stumbled toward the water as though drawn by an invisible thread. His bare feet left shallow prints in the sand, soon erased by the caress of the waves. He fell forward into the surf, the cool water enveloping him in an instant. In the ocean, Glaucus realized with awe that he could breathe. The water felt as natural as air to his changing form. He moved with grace and speed previously unimaginable, his body slicing through the water like a creature born of its depths. It was as though the sea had been waiting for him, welcoming him as one of its own, and he felt an inner harmony with the ocean's rhythm. Visions began to unfold before his eyes, revealing a world beneath the waves that he had never truly seen before. Silvery fish darted around him, flickering like flashes of living light. Coral structures stretched like fantastical cityscapes. The vibrant dance of the underwater world was alive with color and wonder, a sight he had never imagined as he sat upon the shores above. As he swam, Glaucus felt an inexplicable connection to the sea itself. No longer just a fisherman, he was part of something grander and eternal. His heart swelled with a mixture of joy and gratitude. The fears that had gnawed at him began to dissolve, replaced by a deep sense of belonging. With each moment, he embraced his transformation more fully, letting go of what he once knew. Experiencing these profound changes, Glaucus allowed his thoughts to drift to the possibilities that awaited him. Though his life on land faded into a distant memory, something new and wondrous was unfurling. His heart, now capable of containing the vastness of the sea, filled with a curiosity about this newfound existence and the horizons it promised. Thus he floated in the ocean's embrace, scales catching light like a constellation beneath the waves. He pondered what role he, now a creature of myth, might play within the stories that bound land and sea together. His journey was only beginning, yet already it felt as though he and the ocean were telling a story older than time itself. With the transformations complete, Glaucus lingered in the comforting arms of salt water, feeling neither hurry nor pull to leave. He had become a part of the rhythm of life beneath the waves. His old life on the shores seemed a distant dream, and now, in this fluid world, Glaucus sought a sense of belonging and a purpose, yet to be discovered. With the majestic embrace of the ocean now enveloping him, Glaucus began to explore his newfound existence beneath the waves. The transformation initiated by the magical herb had rendered him not only a part of the sea, but deeply in tune with its every nuance. As he moved through the waters, he marveled at his own agility, as if the currents had always been an extension of himself, guiding him with a gentle precision. It was in these depths that Glaucus truly began to appreciate the vast and colorful tapestry of life bustling around him, every creature and plant playing their part in this underwater symphony. His eyes widened with wonder as vibrant schools of fish flitted past, their scales a shimmering mosaic of aqua and indigo that caught and reflected the light filtering down from above. Majestic rays glided gracefully along the seafloor, while curious dolphins circled him, their sleek bodies a testament to the elegance of marine life. It was a world utterly foreign, yet strangely comforting, a vivid canvas upon which life painted its most exquisite patterns. With each exploration, Glaucus found himself striking an odd companionship with the sea creatures. There was a silent understanding and acceptance among them that he was now one of their own, a guardian perhaps, or simply an observer of their tranquil realm. Amidst this newfound fellowship, Glaucus often lingered by the varied corals, their intricate forms and endless fascination, offering him both shelter and beauty. Their existence spoke of resilience and symbiosis, echoing the balance he sought within himself. Yet, as wondrous as this new life was, Glaucus could not help but ponder the implications of his immortality. The thought was vast and chilling in its eternity, the concept of time now linked solely to the rhythmic cycle of tides and the eternal dance of day and night above the waves. What did it mean to live forever? A question as profound as the depths he swam, echoing truths he hoped to uncover in this blessed and boundless expanse. His musings led him to the ancient myths that spoke of the sea, the legends carried by sailors and whispered along shores. The timeless stories that once seemed like fanciful tales now carried the weight of truth. He understood the trials of Poseidon and the plight of merfolk not as stories, but as fellow beings seen from this new perspective. The myths intertwined with reality, revealing layers of history and wisdom that had once eluded him as a mortal man. With each passing day, Glaucus felt a synchrony with the ocean's current, a seamless dance to which he was now attuned. The gentle pull and sway of the water echoed in his very being, and he began to see himself not just as a lone swimmer, but as an integral part of this expansive, breathing entity. The sea was no longer a mere backdrop to his life. It was his realm and identity. In his quiet moments, Glaucus reflected on the life he had left behind on land. The memories of casting nets into serene waters were now distant echoes, their simplicity a stark contrast to the vibrant challenges and promises of his current existence. Human existence seemed both fragile and vibrant from this vast perspective, and while he felt a sense of loss, there was also gratitude for the life he once knew. It had, after all, brought him to this place of wonder and transformation. As he laid in a meadow of swaying kelp one day, the solitude of the vast ocean suddenly brought with it a longing for companionship. The rich tapestry of marine life surrounded him, yet the connection of a shared word or glance with another human, or perhaps another being with whom he could share thoughts, it was a connection he wished for amid the silence of his aquatic world. Gently as the tides, the longing wove its way into his heart, hinting at journeys yet to unfold in search of solace and companionship. As the golden hues of twilight cast their ethereal glow over the ocean's surface, Glaucus found himself drawn to a secluded cove. The gentle mist hung in the air, veiling the surroundings in soft blues and silver mist, as if nature conspired to create a scene both enchanting and mysterious. Here, among the rocks bathed in the retreating sun's lavender light, Glaucus first laid eyes upon Scylla, a sea nymph of unparalleled beauty. Scylla sat near the water's edge, her presence as tranquil as the nightfall itself. Her hair cascaded like silk over her shoulders, shimmering softly in the twilight. Through Glaucus's wonder-struck eyes, he saw a figure almost divine, a vision of grace that seemed to outshine the very stars beginning to prick the sky above. He remained partially hidden, blending with the lapping waves and rocky backdrop, watching her with a heart that beat to the rhythm of the gentle sea. Unaware of his presence, Scylla remained contemplative, her gaze distant as though she were in communion with the ocean itself. She embodied a serene indifference, a calm that spoke of secrets shared only with the sea. Glaucus, captivated by her allure, dared not breathe too loudly, for fear of shattering the delicate tranquility. Yet, as much as he longed to approach, a deep-seated fear of rejection paralyzed him, rooting him in place. He watched in silence as the sea foam discreetly caressed the shore, whispering secrets it refused to share with him. What words could he utter that might draw her gaze, that might transform such a divine indifference into acknowledgement? The question lingered like the mist, frustratingly elusive. Glaucus's heart stirred with a yearning so intense it colored the very air around him, saturating the moment with a desire he could not easily suppress. But the tranquility of the scene was all too fleeting. As if sensing the end to her meditative sojourn, Scylla gracefully rose, leaving the cove's confines with the same quiet elegance she possessed while seated. Each step she took was followed by sea foam kissing her heels goodbye, the rocks preserving her memory in their silent watch. Glaucus, still concealed, could do nothing but long for more, the space she had vacated a lingering echo in his heart. Watching her depart was like watching the day's last light slip beneath the horizon, a bittersweet loss that deepened the shadows within him. As twilight met night, Glaucus felt a desire ignite in his heart, a longing to not only see Scylla again, but to win her affection, a desire as relentless as the tide. Her image was imprinted on his mind, etched as clearly as a star's reflection on a still sea. Determined, he resolved that this encounter could not be the last. The spell Scylla had woven, though unintentional, was unbreakable. As the mist thickened with the night, he made a silent vow to pursue her again, to seek her out so that the longing in his heart might find solace. The sea, vast and eternal, became his ally in this pursuit, whispering promises of guidance and courage to his restless spirit. Glaucus glanced at the twinkling expanse above, taking comfort in the stars that now mirrored the fire within him. He knew that he must prepare for this journey of the heart, for which the ocean held many secrets yet to be unveiled. And thus, as the night embraced the sea and its secrets, Glaucus began to imagine how he might seek the means to draw the nymph's attention, a plan to transform his longing into something more tangible and real. The ocean itself seemed to echo his intentions, carrying them on its gentle waves, setting the course for the journey that lay ahead. The sea's whisperings lingered in Glaucus's thoughts as he journeyed across the land, his destination a place of mystery and power. He sought the wisdom of Circe, the enigmatic sorceress known to weave spells as easily as she breathed. Through autumn's embrace he traveled, guided by the whispers of the wind through forested paths that curled and bent like ancient secrets. Each step carried him further from the familiar embrace of the ocean and into a woodland realm, shrouded in the mystique of autumn's first mist and the light patter of rain against the canopy. The forest seemed alive with an energy that tugged at Glaucus' soul, its trees standing as sentinels of both memory and mystery. As he approached, the great oaks leaned in closer, their branches forming an arch above him as he followed the path that led to Circe's abode. Dawn's light had slowly succumbed to dusk's gentle hold, casting a deep green hue over the landscape. The sense of foreboding that lingered in the air was tangible, yet Glaucus pushed forward, captivated by the promise of what lay ahead. It was not long before he stood before a clearing, Circe's dwelling nestled amid twisted trees and creeping vines. There, under the twilight's dim embrace, a figure emerged, delicate yet commanding. Circe appeared with an aura that wove together the threads of beauty and danger. Her eyes, sharp and knowing, fixed on Glaucus, perceiving the profound transformation he had undergone. Her expression was a blend of curiosity and interest, for rarely did someone like Glaucus, a mortal she had known of only through whispers, seek her out. Glaucus spoke with a voice softened by reverence, and implored the sorceress to lend her aid. The timbre of his words was filled with hope and an unyielding longing to win the heart of the sea nymph, Scylla. Circe listened, her gaze unmoving, the flicker of amusement hidden beneath the surface of her quiet contemplation. She nodded, acknowledging his earnest plea, yet within her, plans unspoken hovered like shadows waiting for the dusk. "I will aid you," Circe said with deliberate calm, her voice both melodic and resonant with untold secrets. Yet, even as she agreed, there was a subtle dance of intent behind her words, for she had desires and machinations of her own. For her assistance, she required something in return, a favor not yet detailed, leaving the edges of her request tantalizingly vague. Glaucus, driven by the promise of love, agreed without hesitation. The potential of capturing Scylla's attention eclipsed any reluctance or suspicion. His desire was a beacon guiding him into the unknown. With the pact sealed, Circe brought forth a glowing potion, its color a captivating mix of silver and midnight blue, swirling like the night sea under a full moon. It was a concoction meant to enhance his appeal, to drape him in a lure that could not be ignored. As she handed the potion to Glaucus, a breeze stirred the leaves around them, whispering ancient secrets carried from the forest to the sea. Glaucus grasped the vial tightly, the coolness of the glass contrasting with the warmth of his palm, an omen or perhaps a promise. Circe watched him with an inscrutable gaze, knowing full well the intricacies of the heart were not something easily swayed by mere potions or spells. With the veil of nighttime drawing forth, Glaucus took his leave from Circe's realm, the path he walked imbued with the glow of newfound hope and anticipation. The forest seemed to nod in approval, the mist rolling in to cover his journey as he returned to the ocean, the place of his true belonging. As the weight of the forest gave way to the rhythmic sound of waves upon the shore, Glaucus pondered the gift he carried, a potion that held the potential to transform mere longing into possibility. The enigmatic encounter with Circe lingered in his mind, a crossroads where magic and heart aligned, each bound by the threads of destiny woven in time's tapestry. He had the means to pursue his desire now in his grasp, and as the waves welcomed him back, he contemplated the truths and complexities that lay ahead. With the potion received from Circe safely tucked beside him, Glaucus made his way back to the familiar embrace of the sea. The skies had begun to clear after the rain, casting a golden light over the calm waters and creating a backdrop of cerulean and emerald hues. His heart, rife with hope, considered the possibilities that awaited him upon using the magic amphora bestowed by the enigmatic sorceress. Here, by the shoreline that Scylla often frequented, he prepared to use the potion, hopeful it would enhance his chances of capturing her elusive affection. The waves gently lapped at Glaucus' feet as he uncorked the potion bottle, a slight sheen emanating from the liquid inside, reflecting the bright afternoon sun. He applied the potion cautiously, feeling a warmth spread through him as the magical concoction took effect. With newfound confidence, Glaucus gazed into the horizon, eager to see Scylla and to test whether the potion would truly make a difference. Scylla, he believed, was bound to be drawn to him, her heart softened by the allure of enchanted charm. As if answering his quiet anticipation, Scylla appeared at her favored spot by the sea, her figure the epitome of ethereal beauty amidst nature's tranquility. Glaucus's heart swelled with hope as he approached her, his mind replaying Circe's assurances. Yet, despite his earnest efforts and the subtle charm bestowed by the potion, Scylla remained indifferent, her gaze remaining fixed on the distant horizon, untouched by Glaucus's presence. The effects of the potion, though potent, seemed to sway nature itself, making the wind whisper his longing yet to no avail. Undeterred, Glaucus persisted gently, showcasing the newfound charisma that the potion promised. He spoke softly of the wonders he had seen beneath the ocean, of the vibrant worlds where marine life danced in harmony. He shared stories, hoping to captivate her with tales that were rich with the beauty and mystery that he hoped would mirror her own intrigue. Scylla turned her head slightly, curiosity flickering for a moment in her eyes, yet still she remained aloof, a serene figure closely connected with the element that both bound them and kept them apart. As the moments slipped by, an unsettling sense of disillusionment began to settle within Glaucus' heart. Though the potion granted him a temporary allure, it could not penetrate the walls of Scylla's indifference. Her autonomy, like the untamed sea, was a force untouched by magic or mortal desire. A profound realization unfolded within Glaucus, like the blooming of a sea flower, luminous in its simplicity. No magic can alter the true will of another heart. In a moment of introspection, Glaucus pondered the futility of relying on magical assistance in matters of love. His yearning for Scylla had led him down this path, driven by an earnest quest for her affection. Yet in this quest, he now recognized he had lost sight of the genuine nature of love, one that remained pure and free even when unrequited. The sea, eternal and vast, had taught him this with its unyielding truth, a reminder that love, given freely, is noble, regardless of its reception. Aware of the encroaching dusk, Glaucus withdrew, allowing himself to drift back into the comforting embrace of the sea. The gentle waves welcomed him anew, whispering their timeless song of acceptance. As he returned to the ocean depths, he understood that his transformation was not merely of form but of perspective and heart. As Glaucus continued to float in the gentle currents, his reflection deepened, weaving the intricate threads of love, magic, and fate. In this newfound understanding, he found a peaceful resolve, a willingness to let things be as they were meant to be. Beneath the gradually dimming sky, Glaucus felt a sense of calm, the kind that comes not from the certainty of magic, but from the clarity of acceptance. As dusk settled into the mystical forest where Circe dwelled, an air of fog and quiet rain enveloped the landscape in a shroud of mystery. Glaucus, driven by the mounting disappointment of unrequited love and the failure of the potion, sought answers from the Sorceress, whose enigmatic power held sway over his heart's desires. His journey back to Circe was filled with reflections on his recent experiences, how he had applied the potion with hope, only to be met by Scylla's gentle indifference. Therein lay the crux of his visit to Circe. He needed to understand the intentions behind the potion she had given him. Upon his arrival at her forest dwelling, Glaucus found Circe seated amidst a circle of ancient towering trees. The air was charged with an energy, both tense and foreboding. Circe greeted him with an expression that masked her knowledge of events yet exuded a subtle curiosity. Glaucus, without prelude, voiced his concerns about the potion's efficacy, or rather, its profound ineffectiveness in changing the course of Scylla's heart. Circe listened intently, acknowledging his plight with a nod, her eyes glinting with latent mystery. With the moon casting a silver luminance on their exchange, Circe openly confessed her envy of Scylla. It was her desire to undercut the nymph's hold over Glaucus, a shadow of human longing that had seeped into her immortal bearings. The revelation was as startling as it was illuminating, and although his heart remained steadfast, Glaucus found himself empathetic toward the Sorceress. Beyond the veneer of power and enchantment lay a heart that yearned just as much as his own. Yet, it was clear, despite Circe's admissions, his heart held no vacancy for anyone but Scylla. Glaucus articulated this gently yet firmly, refusing the advances that Circe's undercurrents of conversation hinted at. He expressed his admiration for Circe but made clear his devotion to the sea nymph. This refusal did not sit well with the Sorceress, and amidst a quiet rustle in the air, Circe attempted a final overture, a clever spell woven with tendrils of enchantment designed to bind him to her will. But Glaucus, fortified by the strength found in his recent transformation and the clarity of his heart's desire, resisted the spell. He called upon the inner power granted by the sea, a gift of both resilience and fluidity, to break free from her mystical bind. The tension crackled, then dissipated, leaving a silence that was as profound as it was peaceful. In this newfound freedom, the confrontation took on a different hue. Circe, recognizing the depth of Glaucus's resolve, offered him a parting promise. While the nature of this promise was shrouded in obscurity, it carried with it a weight of meaning that would echo into his future. It was neither threat nor benediction, but rather a sliver of the complex tapestry of emotions and intentions that lingered between the mortal seeking love and the divine harboring envy. As the moonlight danced on the dampened forest leaves, Glaucus stood steadfast in his determination. The confrontation, though tense and revealing, had solidified his resolve to follow the path of true love, not one coerced by magic, but one nurtured by understanding and acceptance. Glaucus realized this journey might not lead to physical closeness with Scylla, but it would deepen his own understanding of what love truly meant. With a quiet nod toward Circe, Glaucus turned away from the clearing, stepping once more into the embrace of the forest night. The rain had lifted, leaving the world washed anew with the promise of clarity and renewed purpose. The path ahead remained uncertain, yet his spirit buoyed by the realization that true love transcended the tangible and echoed deeper truths. He returned towards the coastline, where the whispers of the sea called him once more. Glaucus could feel the pull of the ocean, where his heart would find solace and teachings in its limitless depths. In this ebb and flow of revelation, Glaucus understood that true love was more than the mere pursuit of another's heart. It was about finding harmony within and aligning one's spirit with the broader rate. Currents of fate. After the revelations and tensions with Circe, Glaucus sought solace in the embrace of the sea. Descending beneath the waves, he found the tranquility that always eluded him on land. The ocean enveloped him like a mother cradling her child, its gentle currents whispering secrets of the deep. As he floated in the vast expanses of aquamarine, reflections of the past and present swirled in his mind. The transformation he had undergone was not just of the body, but of the soul. The magical herb had opened realms of existence previously unimaginable, yet it had also set him on a path of deeper introspection. He pondered the essence of his desires, separate from the external allurements of life above and below the water. Here, in the silence of the sea, he contemplated what truly held meaning for him. Glaucus's thoughts turned inevitably to Scylla, the nymph who had captured his heart with an intensity that defied the logic of both man and sea creature. What was it about her that sparked such relentless yearning within him? Glaucus mused over the nature of true love, distinct from the enchantments and temptations of magic. It was a phenomenon untouched by spells, a connection not easily swayed by the hands of sorcery. Despite Scylla's indifference or Circe's manipulations, this feeling thrived like a mysterious current, unknown and powerful. Immortality, the gift and curse bestowed upon him with the consumption of the herb, played heavily on his spirit. What was it to exist forever, experiencing the incessant march of time? In these eternal waters, Glaucus contemplated the fleeting nature of mortal love, beautiful in its transience, much like the ephemeral dance of sunlight over wave crests. Yet, this perpetual yearning, unfulfilled and unending, mirrored the boundless nature of the very sea that had transformed him. In the ebb and flow of the ocean's heartbeat, Glaucus found a sacred rhythm that soothed his wandering heart. The waters wrapped around him with a calm persuasiveness, convincing him that his place was indeed here, part of a world that did not judge or demand. The sea was a forgiving home, where his scars became stories and his solitude a companion. Here, anchored within this aquatic embrace, he began to see himself not as adrift, but as part of a vast connective expanse. Nature, he realized, would take its course with Scylla. His attempts to change her path or manipulate her affections now seemed as futile as capturing the wind in a jar. Scylla, like the sea, was to be admired, respected, and perhaps most importantly, left free. Her fate was not for him to mold, nor was his for her. Glaucus understood that the truest love did not require possession or change, but was a free-flowing gift, given without expectation of return. Accepting this, Glaucus found contentment in his heart. Alone yet fulfilled, he floated peacefully below the rippling ocean surface, fully enveloped in the vastness of his own discovery. He was at peace with his existence, no longer driven by an insatiable need to belong, or to be loved by another. The sea was his ally, his confidant, and there among the swirling currents and shimmering bioluminescence, he found the quiet wisdom he so desperately sought. As Glaucus relaxed within the soft undulations of the sea, he reached a resolve within himself. He would remain a silent guardian of the waters and a quiet observer of Scylla's fate, content with the role he had chosen in the vast tapestry of life. His heart, now calm, echoed the eternal melody of the sea, a song of acceptance and unspoken love that would forever resound within the ocean's depths. In the tranquil dusk, a shadow fell over the waves as the eternal murmur of the sea continued its endless whisper. Glaucus, resting at sea level, felt a disturbance ripple through the water. A strange sensation pulled his gaze towards the rocky outcrop, a grizzled bastion against the encroaching storm. There, silhouetted against the shifting skies, he saw Scylla standing as though carved from the twilight itself, her ethereal beauty untouched by the world's tumults. Yet, as Glaucus watched, an unsettling change began to sweep over her form. Scylla's transformation was not the serene bloom of a flower, but a sudden shift, like the sea's calm giving way to a tempest. Her lithe figure, once the subject of whispered myths, began to convulse subtly, a frisson of motion beneath her skin. Old tales told of such beauty cloaked in danger, and here were those stories made flesh. Scylla, the nymph, was becoming something that the ocean itself whispered about in dread tones, monstrous yet captivating, forever altering her fate. As Glaucus watched, transfixed, realization struck like a tidal wave crashing against the rocks. This metamorphosis bore the unmistakable imprint of Circe's sorcery. The echoes of Circe's envy and thwarted desires had not failed to leave their mark upon Scylla. The enchanting nymph, trapped in her new form of mythic proportions, was now a figure to be both feared and pitied. Her transformation carried the weight of ageless myths, and in that moment, Glaucus felt the tragic shift in the tales of old become painfully real. Conflicted emotions stirred within him. Love enduring despite the chasm of change, tangled with grief for the path Scylla had been forced upon. She had become a storied creature of the sea, and while her outward appearance had changed, Glaucus's affections were unwavering. Yet, sorrow pervaded, for he knew the vast gulf that transformations could place between souls, even immortal ones. There was an eternal longing within him, driven by the knowledge that love's path was rarely linear or kind. Compelled by his emotions, Glaucus approached, the waves parting around him with the gentle persuasion of the tides. His heart, filled with a wild hope that he might offer solace, pushed him closer. Yet, as he drew near, Scylla's form twisted with instinct, her newly formed guardians rising defensively around her. Her reaction was not of recognition or welcome, but a reflexive guard born of fear and newfound strength. Each monstrous head, a testament to her altered being, mirrored the turmoil that raged within her. Understanding washed over Glaucus as salt-touched foam skittered across the turbulent sea. He withdrew quietly, the weight of harsh reality settling upon him. Scylla, transformed and distant, was now part of the legendary sea peril, a creature marked by both beauty and tragedy, a changing inevitable as the ebb and flow of tides. Stepping back, Glaucus accepted this new reality, his heart bearing the signature aches of unrequited love. Though he had wished to offer comfort, he could see that the barriers erected by fate and magic were things even tenacious affections could not breach. In his retreat, he acknowledged not just the transformation of Scylla, but an emanation of nature's untamed will, separate from desire's cloaked immortality. Within the gathering storm beneath dark gray and storm-blue skies, Glaucus found a semblance of understanding. The sea, with all its mysteries and moods, became a part of him once more, an embrace as ancient as the tales whispered by wind and water. Despite the loss, there was an elemental bond with Scylla that no spell could sever, as enduring and omnipresent as the crash of the waves themselves. As the chapter closed, Glaucus turned towards the horizon, carrying with him the sharp, solemn beauty of their intertwining fates, a melody composed by gods and nature, one of sorrow and acceptance, of love and inevitability. The sea continued its ceaseless lullaby, serenading a tale bound to be recounted, altering whispers among the winds of mythology. In the shifting light of an unsettled dusk, Glaucus understood. True love, like the ocean's vast expanse, was a testament to enduring hope amidst inevitable change. As the twilight sun cast its final rays upon the ocean's surface, Glaucus felt the gentle pull of the sea calling him back into its depths. He was no longer just a fisherman, nor merely a creature transformed by the whims of fate. He was part of the eternal ocean, an embodiment of its vast mysteries and endless wisdom. This realization settled upon him like a comforting wave, bringing with it a profound sense of peace and acceptance. In the embrace of the sea, Glaucus finally understood his true role in this ever-turning cycle of life. Reflecting upon the very nature of transformation, Glaucus saw his own journey mirrored in the fate of Scylla. Her metamorphosis, while tragic, was a testament to the awe-inspiring power that lay in change, an inherent force of nature that could shape destinies and alter worlds. Just as he had once shifted from a mortal life into a being of the sea, Scylla's change symbolized a beauty that was complex and yet undeniably poignant. Acceptance seeped into his spirit, allowing him to see that these transformations were not burdens but gifts, moments of profound connection to the universe itself. Contentment washed over him as he surrendered to the ocean's timeless embrace, letting go of earthly attachments and the heartache of unrequited love. In this release, Glaucus recognized that true love transcended possession and desire. It was noble and selfless, a quiet but enduring force that nourished his soul. He saw now that his affection for Scylla was not diminished by the distance or the changes wrought upon her. Rather, it was purified and elevated, a testament to the power of love that seeks nothing in return but the well-being of the beloved. With this newfound wisdom, Glaucus embraced his immortality not as an eternal sentence, but as a wondrous opportunity to witness the beauty of the world, unrestrained by the passage of time. He observed the lively procession of marine life around him, feeling a renewed sense of belonging among the colorful corals and swift schools of fish. They accepted him as one of their own, weaving around him in dances of joy and life, a reminder of the vibrant cycles that spoke of eternity. Among these wonders, Glaucus found solace watching over Scylla from afar. Her transformation did not diminish his affection. Instead, it fueled his resolve to silently protect her from the margins, offering a love that was as vast and resilient as the sea itself. Thus, Glaucus dedicated himself to this quiet guardianship, content in his role as an eternal observer, a protector of the one he cherished beyond the limits of form and fate. As he floated amidst the coral reefs, surrounded by the rippling sunbeams filtering through the water, Glaucus pondered the ocean's secrets, embracing them as the essence of his being. The sea's gentle currents whispered ancient songs of life and love, weaving stories from the dawn of time, each one a harmonious blend of joy and sorrow, of beginnings and ends, intertwined in a tapestry that was its own form of grace. With the setting sun painting the seas in hues of teal and coral, Glaucus felt at peace, one with the world he had chosen to accept and love. He understood the promise of his existence in the great tapestry of the ocean. His heart, no longer heavy with yearning, now sang with the rhythms of the waves. Safeguarding Scylla from afar, he offered her serenity, just as the sea had gifted him with a sense of eternal belonging. Thus, Glaucus embraced the sea fully, becoming the steward of his own newfound freedom. His otherworldly transformation had opened him to boundless horizons where the stories of love, loss, and transformation found their echoes in the gentle lapping of the waves. In this tranquil realm, Glaucus found not an ending, but a beginning, a new chapter of silent reverence for the life he now lived alongside the ocean's unending symphony, turning love's lessons into a quiet strength, forever watching over Scylla with a heart as boundless as the sea. The story of Glaucus and Scylla began to spread across the ancient seas, carried by the winds and relayed by those who sailed upon the waters. Among sailors and fishermen, Glaucus's tale became a topic of quiet reflection in the evenings, as vessels bobbed gently under the night's canopy. With each telling, his legend grew, stories of the humble fisherman transformed by mystical forces, and the bittersweet love he bore for Scylla. It became a tale of caution, reminding those who heard it of the boundless mysteries of the sea and the transformations it could invoke. Along the rocky shores, children gathered with wide-eyed wonder, eager to hear the fabled account of Glaucus, the sea god. They sat at the feet of elders who gestured towards the distant waves, their fingers pointing to an unseen realm where Glaucus was said to reside. To these children, Glaucus was not merely a mythical figure, but a guardian of sorts, someone who, despite his immortal form, understood the human heart and its complexities. His narrative instilled in them a sense of reverence for the sea and its secrets, hinting at the life that stirred beyond the foam. Sailors, seeking calm passage and protection during crossings, invoked Glaucus's name with whispering hopes. The divine fisherman offered them solace through the swirling mists and unpredictable squalls. His name became synonymous with safety and assurance, a talisman against the sea's capricious nature. This practice became so ingrained that even the hardest of mariners would not set sail without first murmuring his name to the winds, hoping for safe harbors and tranquil tides. The lore of Glaucus intertwined smoothly with local folklore, embedding itself in the cultural traditions of seafaring communities. During festivals and rituals dedicated to paying tribute to the oceans, Glaucus was honored with offerings, seaweed wreaths laid upon the waves, and small tokens thrown overboard with prayers for bountiful catches and merciful waters. This tale, rich in its detailing of love, transformation, and the eternal ebb of the tides, became intricately woven into the identity of these coastal societies. Yet, it was Scylla who became the more poignant figure in tales told across the shores. Her transformation into a haunting symbol of beauty, now unreachable, captivated the imaginations of those who heard of her fate. She represented the ever-elusive beauty of the sea that could draw one in, and yet remain out of reach. Her saga served as a solemn warning about the consequences of envy and unrequited desires, a living caution against meddling with the forces of the divine. Communities that lived along the shores preserved these stories as part of their local customs. Glaucus, once a simple fisherman, had become a fixture in the cultural tapestry that connected the people to their watery neighbors. He was remembered at the turn of the tide, when the moon rose large and golden over the horizon, his tale evoked with admiration and quiet longing, not just for what was lost, but for the lessons gained through loss and acceptance. As generations passed, the memory of Glaucus grew stronger. His story was retold with differing nuances, yet his core of transformation, love, and an enduring watchfulness remained intact. Scylla's memory, too, persisted as a striking symbol of love's complexities, serving as a reminder of the depths of the heart and the power of the sea to both uplift and separate. Each new generation found something in the myth that resonated with their own lives and experiences. The legend of Glaucus retained its place in the cultural consciousness, ensuring that the tale of the transformed fisherman and his beloved Scylla would never fade. Instead, it echoed perpetually across the sea, becoming as timeless as the waves themselves. As the stories continued to drift along the coastlines, they revealed timeless wisdom about the resilience of the heart, the inevitability of change, and the silent acceptance that each transformation holds. Through the passage of time, the myth of Glaucus and Scylla forever remained, a reassuring song in the shared heritage of those who knew the sea. As dawn gently broke over the endless coastline, the sound of the sea whispered along the shore, calling to those who paused to listen. This tranquil scene had played host to centuries of stories, but few resonated as deeply as the tale of Glaucus and Scylla. Their myth, a timeless testament to love and transformation, continued to weave its way through the fabric of human understanding. In the gentle rise and fall of the waves, echoes of their tale lingered, carrying lessons from one generation to the next. Even as the sea appeared calm and predictable, the story of Glaucus and Scylla reminded those who heard it of the powerful transformations that could lurk beneath the serene surface. Glaucus, once a humble fisherman, found himself forever changed by a magical herb, a symbol of how life's course can be altered in an instant. His journey unveiled the theme of immortality versus humanity, as he grappled with the eternal consequences of his newfound existence. Glaucus's tale urged listeners to reflect on the fragility of human desires and how they contended with the boundless stretch of eternity. Within this myth lay a profound understanding of love in all its forms. Glaucus's unwavering affection for Scylla, despite its unrequited nature, spoke to the beauty inherent in selfless love. Though his affections went unreturned, Glaucus embraced the purity of his emotions, valuing them as part of his connection to the human soul, even as his form transcended it. This love, mirrored in the divine currents of the ocean, was a reminder that true affection could exist without reciprocation, a gentle acceptance of the world's natural order. The tale of Glaucus and Scylla also offered wisdom on embracing life's inevitable changes. Scylla's own transformation was as much a part of the myth as Glaucus's evolution, highlighting the unyielding march of nature's design. Her metamorphosis into a figure of beauty and danger spoke to the unpredictability of fate, yet also echoed the eternal rhythm of the sea's tides. In watching her change, Glaucus's story became one of quiet understanding, that not all transformations could be controlled, but could still be respected and accepted. The eternal ebb and flow of the sea mirrored the themes found within Glaucus and Scylla's story. Just as the ocean's tides are predictable yet ever-changing, so too are the forces of life and love that shaped their myth. The power of nature was immortalized within their narrative, urging humanity to cherish its beauty and brace for its strength. This story, reflected in the glassy expanse of the ocean under a cloudy sky, served as a humble reminder of the vast and mysterious forces beyond human control. A profound sense of acceptance and understanding permeated the myth, inviting listeners to find peace in the natural order of the world. Through the struggles and transformations of Glaucus and Scylla, the story imparted a gentle serenity, the realization that life, with all its unpredictable twists, unfolds exactly as it should. Their legend, woven into the very fabric of the sea, offered solace to those who mourned unrequited love and hoped for acceptance of the paths already traveled. As generations continued to recount the myth, the echoes of Glaucus's song could be heard in the music of the waves. Sailors and fishermen, young and old, leaned into the wind, listening for the ancient tune that told of love, transformation, and acceptance. This song, flowing through the ebb and flow of each tide, carried the soothing conclusion of the tale. With every gentle lap upon the shore, Glaucus's story reminded all of the peace that could be found in letting go, and the quiet joy in embracing one's destiny. The tale's winding paths brought listeners to a finale marked by tranquility, a soft invocation to the sea that hailed an eternal truth. In the spaces between the waves and the sky, the myth of Glaucus and Scylla continued, lending its eternal echoes to future generations. Each whisper of the sea affirmed the unchanging themes and lessons of the story, nudging those who journeyed along the shore to find their peace within the world's mesmerizing unfolding. As the ocean's timeless hands stroked the sand, the myth stayed alive, enveloping the listener in a comforting embrace of acceptance and love.